This and all talks at the 2019 JavaScript for WordPress Conference are brought to you in part by our sponsors Pantheon, a high-performance hosting platform with agile developer tools. Check them out at pantheon.io.
All right, everyone, welcome. We're still at the JavaScript for WordPress Conference 2019, and I have a very special friend today. She's going to be speaking on Gutenberg Plugin Landscape. Okay, so I'm going to put Birgit up now. Birgit, am I pronouncing it well? Birgit.
Well, it's actually Birgit. It's the beer and then Git up. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay. So Birgit is the founder of Poly Systems, a distributed web consulting agency. She also curates and publishes for the Gutenberg Times. So we're excited to have you, and I look forward to enjoying your talk. So I'm going to put you on now. Okay.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Mary. I've been looking forward to meeting you, but also to meet everybody else in this track. Glad to see you all from around the world. And we'll spend the next 50 minutes together and talk about the great stuff you can do with the block editor beyond the core implementation. Well, it's a brave new world out there. Can we share the slides now, Mary, or how do I do that? Okay, all right. Okay, cool. So first, a little bit more about me. As you heard, I'm the founder of Poly Systems, a distributed web consulting agency. I'm also a co-founder of MP-Tech Projects, which is a nonprofit for a nonprofit struggling. The nonprofits are struggling with technology, and we help them. One of our programs is our WP for Good Club, where we help nonprofit content creators as well as accidental techies with their WordPress install and content creation. We do have monthly office hours. We share video tutorials. We also do one-on-one video calls. And included in the membership in the club is an account with a managed hosting provider, Reusable. So if you know a nonprofit from United States and you know they need some help, send them along our way. So I'm also, as you heard, a curator publisher of Gutenberg Times, but we just started a new podcast called the Gutenberg Changelog. And I co-hosted with Mark Urain, who is also a speaker at this conference, like 2 doors down, and from Automatic Design Team, and he's full-time working on the Gutenberg editor. Later today, we will record our second episode and publish it over the weekend. So I hope you'll check it out. Also save the date for the next Gutenberg Times live Q&A. It will be with Pascal Böchler, also a speaker later today. Alberto Medina and Kathy Bosco on July 26, 2019, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 1800 UTC, and whatever that is in your world. We'll discuss the new release of the AMP plugin for WordPress that comes with AMP Stories for Gutenberg Editor. It's a feature that lets you create stories that you know from Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. And now you can create them on your own website where they last. So join us for those who will watch this after July 26. Check out the Gutenberg Times website with the link to the recording. It will be on YouTube and the transcript. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Steve. So you can follow along or get the slide deck afterwards. Here's my master link to get all the other links. It's at bit.ly/JS4WP Birgit, all one word. So the landscape of Gutenberg plugins. I got a little bit nostalgic. What do you think about my Windows XP screensaver landscape with a lot of cloud-based approach there? So I found almost 100 plugins in the WordPress.org repository, and I put them into 6 categories, and those are the clouds there. So we have block collections, plenty of them, single-purpose blocks, e-commerce blocks, blocks that integrate with third parties, plugins that offer block templates and help you with page layouts, and plugins that offer you tools to better work with the blocks or the block editor or end. So I'm watching the chat not closely because I'm kind of trying to get through this talk, but I will do breaks where I can catch up with you on the chat and the sections, so 3 or 4 times during the next 15 minutes. So you'll find the list of the plugins on the Gutenberg Times. There's no way I was able to find all the available plugins. There are quite a few that are not available in the repository. They exist either on GitHub only or on different marketplaces. Some of you may know that I'm also a deputy at the WordPress global community team, and I won't promote plugins that are not 100% GPL. I also want to give a shout out to the WordPress plugin review team and Mika Epstein, who helps plugin developers to stay within the guidelines and keeps our ecosystem safe. So at this moment, the link to the plugins gives you 98 plugins, but I've seen later on this number will change maybe because I will do a usual round of updates. I have not tested all of them in the post, but I definitely spot checked or spot tested the ones that we talk about today. So let's get in there. So first up are block collections. They give us a set of different blocks that all work together. Although the collections work with most themes I've seen, they work best with the theme they originate in. Like the atomic block with the atomic theme, or the cadence block with the cadence theme. There's still quite a few things that can go haywire when you have a theme that is not customized for Gutenberg blocks or for particular blocks that come with those plugins. The core team early on suggested the best practice that blocks are plugin territory and that they should be kept out of themes. So last I counted, there were 30 block collections in the plugin repository. We'll go through 4 of them so you understand the differences and the variations in approaches. So some of the developers actually created container and section blocks that were still missing in the Gutenberg editor until just a few weeks ago, or months ago. And the early block collections are also received quite some attention in the space before the Gutenberg editor actually went into core. And one of them was Mike Allister, and he came out with his atomic blocks in March of 2018, at the time when Gutenberg was at version 2.3. So Gutenberg is now at 6.1. So it received a lot of attention together with the new theme atomic block that was specifically built for the Gutenberg editor. In October 2018, WP Engine acquired array themes with it, the atomic blocks and theme. That was actually 2.5 months before Gutenberg even made it into core. The newest version of atomic blocks sports an array of ready-made layouts, and they are very robust and work with all the themes that I tested them. So I'll also share the GitHub link on that slide, just because with the modern JavaScript, you get in the repository only the build version of the plugins, and the source code that helps you study up and kind of learn from those that come before you, is actually on GitHub. So where I found it, I also added the GitHub link to the slide deck, so you can research after that. Next on, Rich Tabor started early to contribute to Gutenberg and release additional blocks. He founded also in 2018 CoBlocks with Jeffrey Carradine, and then sold it earlier this year to GoDaddy. CoBlocks comprises of 23 individual blocks, from accordion over Google Maps to click to tweet to a masonry gallery. While many plugin developers use the sidebar of the block editor for different settings, Rich tried to use the block toolbar as often as possible, as sometimes people don't open the sidebar and don't know that there are settings that they can use hidden there. So you see in the animation the shape divider. It actually has a color picker right on the bottom of the shape divider, where you can change the color of it right there from the block in the editor, and don't have to go into the sidebar. And you see more of those examples where he also uses the toolbar, the block toolbar, more than the sidebar in the GitHub repository. It's really a good place to study these kind of design patterns. This week I used for the first time Kadence Blocks, and the name came up multiple times during our conversations at our local WordPress meetup, where other members tried it out. It comes actually with a built-in block manager, so you can deactivate blocks that you don't want to use. Any of the text blocks have a few more ways to add different fonts and sizes and change line height, as well as and other things. This one definitely has a lot more options for each block than, for instance, Atomic Blocks has. It really depends on who's the intended audience for your blocks plugin. Is it the million of bloggers who want to get their content out as fast as possible? Or is it the group of people building sites for others and need a more flexible set of tools? I don't think that the demarcation line is not yet really clearly defined, but it definitely, the WordPress philosophy is decisions, not options, and some developers adhere to this more than others. And the last one is WP Munich Blocks. Eric Lursen is one of the main contributors to this block collection. He came on the Gutenberg Times live Q&A last November, and he started using Gutenberg very early, also in spring 2018, for a gaming review site in Germany. His team's work was also highlighted in an article at the WP Tavern in August 2018. And when we talked, he showed off some of the blocks that they were using for their projects, and a couple of days later, they released 3 of them in the repository. Now there are about 11 of them in there. This is also a shout out to my hometown, Munich, where I grew up and was born there. And I still, although I'm in the United States for over 20 years now, I still go there once a year and visit my parents, and I really love the town. But besides, but in the plugin, you find, besides the commonly used blocks like author profile blocks or a pricing table block, you also find a timeline block that is quite beautiful, and also a semantically correct formatted events block. When you're an organization that has events, but not plenty of them, like maybe 10 or 15 a year, you not necessarily need an events plugin for WordPress that can handle hundreds and hundreds of events. So when you have an events block that is semantically correct formatted, you can really that would be sufficient for advertising, promoting your events. So as promised, I do a short break and catch up with you if you have questions in the chat. Yeah, there is not a whole lot of going on. Have you seen any block collections that you like? Which one do you use? Maybe you want to share this? And I'm drinking a little Chinese tea. All right. No questions, no comments. Yeah, Steve, the landscape from before is actually originated by from a National Geographic photographer that was bought in, and the photo was bought by Microsoft to put it into XP. So it's kind of, yeah. So, all right. So the next sections are single block plugins. Oh, there's another question. The events with WP Munich? No, they are not custom post types. They are content in the block editor that are displayed on either a page or a post. It doesn't have to be a custom. That's also something that Gutenberg brought in the forefront. Not everything that is a different content type does actually need a custom post type. You can just kind of have another block with and fill in the blanks kind of form. So single block plugins, meaning single purpose plugins, are actually my favorite to solve because they mostly solve one issue and do one thing very well. And the next one here is a shout out to Kevin Bazira, who was earlier in the chat and hopefully is still here. His 60 degree images viewer got me all excited because now I was able to share my photosphere that I created with my phone on my website. And those images are so cool because you can use your mouse and navigate around the picture like you're in the room. You can look in all the corners. And don't forget to look up. There's mosaic in the ceiling as well. If you have a Google Cardboard, you could actually see them in a virtual reality experience, and like you're standing right there with me in the crypta of the Basilica in Belgrade. So Kevin not only provides this, only provides it with two settings, like the picture dimension, and if you want to have it wide or over the full screen width. But it's enough to make me really be happy about it. Kevin also has 6 or 7 other single-purpose blocks in the repository. I think you should check him out. We also use his PDF viewer quite a bit. Kevin, great job. Thank you so much for that. The next one, single purpose, is something that we in WordPress use quite often. That's the post layouts for a collection of blocks like archive, not only archive pages, but also if you write about something and then you say, okay, this category gives you more posts about the same subject. So I looked at 2 of them. One is called Post Layouts for Gutenberg, and the other one is called Guten Post Layout. Yeah, we are all not particularly imaginative with the post titles, but it's also what people will look for. So both take a little bit of a different approach to use the various spaces around the admin screen. Again, decisions, not options. So while payouts for Gutenberg uses 40 different options, Guten Post Layout only needs 17 different options, and you get pretty much the same far. Sometimes the wide width option that Gutenberg block editors allows does not always work with that. So only the Guten Post Layout actually works with a wider than normal display, but it's also depending on the theme, of course, and each plugin also need to come up with, test things with various themes. It's still a little bit hazardous. The next one is the block gallery from Rich Tabor, and for a long time the native gallery block, although very attractive out of the box, were not very flexible. Rich Tabor was pushing the borders of the boundaries of Gutenberg with this block gallery plugin, and it's now available either as a standalone. Well, let's see if I can let them get the movie going. Oh yeah. Yeah, when I tested it before, it wouldn't want to work. And so you get you pick the pictures, and then you see them in the block editor, and then you get a few you can change the custom size, you can change the gutter, you can change the rounded corners, and also how you want the captions to be displayed. It's quite nicely done. So that's a single purpose block. Here's also blocks for slider. So the block gallery actually has 3 blocks. One is a mason gallery, the other one is a normal gallery, and then a slider gallery, or gallery slider. The next one is more for a special purpose. Core committer Adam Silverstein, also who presented earlier today on the WP hooks. He created this special block that's a math markup language block, which you can create and display math formulas written in MathML. And the block uses a JavaScript library called MathJax to render the content. It's pretty cool and really great for bloggers with an affinity for math problems. As I said, there are plenty of other single-purpose blocks there. I think the collection is now about 30 of them, but there is also a side note, and I saw this last night, that there were a lot more single blocks now available, especially from one company, so I need to go back and check them out. But I think it's actually what we will see more and more. If you haven't yet heard about the new feature that will come into Core Editor, it's called Block Directory. And that will probably have a few of the plugin developers go to single block purposes. The goal for the block directory is to expand the block inserter to search for blocks that are not yet installed on your site. And if there is one that you like, it will install it in the background. So there are 2 teams working on it right now. One is the design team, and they have some interesting prototypes already published. It's on the Make blog of design, so make.wordpress.org/design. Mel Joyce has done some great work and summary there. And then the other team is the meta team, and they discuss it on make.wordpress.org/meta. Discuss how to make the plugins and the blocks available to the block editor, and most likely it will require a subsection. That's a difficult word. Subsection in the plugins repository just for blocks, and it will probably involve some kind of JSON registry to get it into the inserter. But check out those team discussions, because now is the time to actually contribute to the discussion, have your opinions heard, but also if you're a plugin developer, get involved and see what it's all about and what the future will bring. So as promised, we don't have any other questions here in the side bar, so I'm going right through the next one. So the layout templates. That's kind of trying to do what page builders did for many, many years, or still do in WordPress. I'm just going to get myself that they help you with building particularly page layouts. So the first one is called Gutenberg Blocks templates, and I put design next to it because that's WordPress.org/plugins/design comes in. It allows you to download pre-made Gutenberg editor templates from their server, and they offer free and premium designs. And it's more block as a service kind of plugin. It has an ever-growing design library for various use cases, and it claims to be compatible with other plugins and themes. The designs are all based on native Gutenberg blocks, which I find refreshing after I went through all the other blocks that are always a little bit different. So this is definitely something to explore, because the variety is really big in be it lists, be it column, be it statistics or something like that. So check it out. Next one is the Grids Layout Builder for WordPress. This one got some attention at the summer update by Matt Molenbeek in WordCamp Europe. It's a layout builder for WordPress, but it was released by the team of the pre-Gutenberg page builder called Bricks, and the company is called Evolve. This one is built on top of the block editor and based on the CSS grid. It provides sections and areas for native or third-party blocks, and I have found playing around with it, it takes a bit of practice to get fast with it. The documentation link should help you with that. Yeah, check it out. The next one, I come back to, I mentioned it before, coming back to the atomic block for this category as well, because you'll find very nice templates and layouts for your website in their collection. And they are increasing the number of it. Why do I know this? Because they have a favorite tab up there where you can say, okay, these are my favorites and those are that I'm gonna use. It's kind of pretty much like the plugins directory where you also can pick some favorites so you don't have to search through all of them. This is very nice. And I actually find it working on quite a few themes, and there was no difference pretty much in how it was displayed. The last one, I mentioned it before, is, the story concept from Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. There are those are visually rich user experience optimized for mobile viewing. So and they are now available on your website. You need the Gutenberg with the AMP plugin. You need the Gutenberg editor, I think 5.9 or 5.8 or newer, and to work with it. And it lets you do pretty amazing things with the block editor. So being a photographer, I'm totally excited about this. I know we all have mixed feelings about AMP, but this also works even if the rest of the site isn't AMP certified already. It really makes your content on the mobile phone shine. And it's very easy to use. As again, in July 26, we will have the team who built this. Pascal Birchler was the lead developer on this feature, and Kathy Bosco was a designer on the team to build this. And we're going to go right into middle of it on July 26. But it's it gives you some page layouts here. Any questions for now? Kind of a little break here, and I'll get my another sip of tea. The tea is called gunpowder. It's not harmful. It actually keeps me going. So, all right, the next one is integration with external APIs. That can mean a lot of different things for different people. The Google Maps is certainly an external API, Google Drive, Instagram, and many, many more. This space hasn't expanded as much as I would like, or as I had hoped it would. But Gutenberg is only 6 months released for the last 6 months. So some of the heavy lifting hasn't been done yet. And but there are some amazing plugins already available. So the first one is Google Maps. It's not a single purpose one. It comes, so what you're seeing there, oh, I get to click on another video here. Oh, not so big. Are we still seeing this? Yeah. Sorry. Oh, maybe now it's not working. Okay. I hate this. So, but this is the Google Maps block that you find in CoBlocks. And there is an alternative out there. It's called Google Maps by Web Factory. Yeah, I don't think that video is going to show. Okay. So I'm just going to do the still image here. Oh, maybe, yeah, now it does. Hey. And again, the block toolbar actually has quite a few settings there that people can use. And then on the side, you can have additional map controls that you can either switch on or off, like what kind of different controls do we offer those who view this on our website. Excellent. Yeah, so that's the CoBlocks Google Maps app. Another one integration is EmbedPress. I'm showing information on the schedule of the soft cricket tournament that was in Sarasota in Florida earlier this year in June, I think. And they had the schedule in a Google spreadsheet, and they needed it on the website fast. So I used this plugin to embed it just right there on their website. So the Gutenberg editor has quite a few, well, quite many embed blocks that come right with it. But what impressed me with EmbedPress is not only the huge amount of embeds that they have beyond that, they also offer additional functionality with it. And they have, for every one of those, tutorials on how to actually make it work with each of the services that they embed. So I use, as I said, I use this quickly to embed the spreadsheet, but you can embed media from 75 different sites. And the plugin was brought to you by the team of OS Training and the team that also authored EmbedPress. And as a side note, Zach Gordon's book, React Explained, was published by OS Training by the same team. So shout out to them. If you need embed any of the any services out there, go there first to kind of check them out if they offer you one. They have for videos, they have actually a little add-on for Wistia, Vimeo, and YouTube, where you can be a little bit more granular on your controls, what actually shows and not shows, and who to show it to. So it's quite an impressive plugin. And then the next one is Instagram. When you use the Instagram embed block from Gutenberg, from the block editor, you can only display one picture at a time. And Kona Instagram feed plugin gives you some nice configuration tools to show any number of images from your profile in any number of columns with any background you want. So you have a little bit more control over what displays and how much you can show. You need an Instagram access token for it, but it guides you through the process the easy process there quite well. What I'm missing here, or what Instagram is really good at, is hashtags. So, but I looked at the API of Instagram, and I didn't see any endpoints anymore. It was a couple of years ago when we did some implementation, but I need to dig a little deeper into the API to maybe have additional features here to display a certain hashtag, display certain other people that are not your profile, but that you want to, like on your team or something like that. So there's certainly room for expansion there. All right. Oops. The next one is e-commerce. It's that's a small section, but it's also part of the integration with an external system. If you for one shopping cart, but if you have easy digital download site, you have a one product block with a lot of configuration choices on the sidebar, so you can really narrow that down, which of the products you want to show in your blog post or on your page, to give them a shout out, or to just kind of have them there and say, okay, these are the topics, and here are some books or software or whatever from that you put into easy digital download. The next one is BigCommerce. That's a software as a service e-commerce system, and they came to the WordPress space about a year ago. They had, oh, by the way, Karen White is also a speaker at this conference, and she will talk about headless e-commerce. So BigCommerce seems to go the opposite route of Shopify in terms of integrating with WordPress. They feel WordPress is best for content marketing, and they are all in reaching out to the WordPress developers community. It's good to have an alternative to WooCommerce when it comes to selling products online. Speaking of which, WooCommerce, of course, gives the store owner and site owner many blog choices to accomplish the task faster than going through 40 controls on one blog. And the WooCommerce product blocks is the full name of the plugin, is probably the most downloaded specific blocks plugin from the repository, with about 400,000 downloads. Okay, so how are we doing? So shall we keep going? I can keep going. We have one more section. That's the tools section. That's the one that I kind of find myself lost every day when I test new things. So let's start out with like animated blocks. And animating blocks is something scary for me. But when you want to call out a special section on your page, it's quite intriguing and it grabs the attention of your viewer who doesn't know where to look first. There are two examples in the block repository. One is called animated blocks, and the other one is called animating blocks. Do we have problems with the sound or with the things? So animated blocks has 76 cross-browser CSS3 animation, and you can add your own as well. So that gets you occupied quite a bit. The other one, the animating blocks plugin, has a little less tools, and you get through your work faster. The one animation block is done by Paul Allen. Okay, enough with all the movements. So then one big section is the blocks without JavaScript, meaning, well, Gutenberg is based on React.js, and a lot of developers have not yet gotten up to speed with the modern JavaScript stack. But for those, there's actually help out there, and not only ACF, Advanced Custom Fields, but there's also Block Lab out there. Check them out. You can install the plugin and test and build your blocks without JavaScript, and some of them without PHP, actually. I compared 3 of these tools for an article at the WP Tavern called Block Building Without JavaScript, Testing ACF, Block Lab, and Lazy Blocks. And I published it a couple of months ago, must have been mid-May or something. And these tools are there for every coding level. So this one here that you see there is from Block Lab. They all function the same. You create a field group in the normal admin space there, give the name, and then some magic happens in the background, and the block appears in your block editor and lets you fill in the blanks on a form that comes up in the block editor. So this is Block Lab. Lazy Blocks is for those, it's probably easier to learn, and you only need some basic HTML to be successful in creating your own blocks. It also has been updated about a couple of weeks ago. It has quite a few different types of fields, including code, rich text box, or repeater fields. So if you don't want to install a plugin, see what blocks are in there, grab the right one, test it, doesn't work, doesn't have enough fields, or you need to jerry rig it, or then you go to the next block. That's actually what happened to me with a team. I needed to put a team on someone's website, and I was kind of testing around all of them, and then I said, okay, now let's test these, and then I can really be very specific at what I need my team, the information from that team to actually show, and I really liked it. So there is help out there, people. The next one is Editor's Kit by Jeremy Carradine. He's a co-founder of CoBlocks and has renamed his earlier block options plugin to Editor Kit. It provides a lot of tools that are not in the default editor, but in his view, they should be. He also is active in discussions with the core team and contributed code and also bug reports. So the Editor Kit has developed into a Swiss Army knife and great features for the advanced block editor user and content producer. You can do markdown support, rich text additional formatting, device visibility, get more CSS support, and more options for image and cover image, and also integrates well with ACF, with the ACF block. It's hard, yeah. Definitely worth checking out. And he's very active in the community, so you always can kind of connect with him again. One of my favorite features of the block editor, I don't know about you, but maybe that's a good question for to close it up, is actually the reusable blocks. I just love that. I can import and export them. I can put a group of blocks into the reusable blocks, but on a few sites I've gotten myself into trouble because I didn't know on which post where all the reusable blocks are added. And a nice little helper is the Reusable Block Manager, a plugin by the people at Yes We Work. And this plugin saved me a lot of time. Andrew and Thomas, who build sites for news outlets, and who will be guests at the Gutenberg Times live Q&A on August 2nd, told me their clients really needed this, and they included it into their sites, and also thought it would be helpful for others. So they opened it up for the repository. I'm very happy about that. And I was able to clean out in less than a minute the reusable blocks I built but never used, and declutter my block inserter. So that's it. That's the end of the tour through the landscape of Gutenberg plugins. You can ping me on Twitter at BPH. My DMs are open. DMs is direct messaging, or you can write me an email to polly@gutenbergtimes.com. So this, and I hope you are inspired by all the good work that has been done out there, contribute to them, learn from them, and create your own blogs fairly soon. Thank you very much for joining me. It was a blast. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Birgit, for that presentation. I learned a lot, and I look forward to learning how to create my